Okay, well, welcome to all our Not Another Business Group friends, and welcome Stuart Miles. How are you, Stu?
I'm very good, thank you, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we put in the group a little while ago that we were going to do a bit of a session on systems for business, and I know you very kindly offered your thoughts. So I put on this first slide here 5 ways that you've used systems and procedures to grow and sell your business. So that's how it came about, isn't it, Stuart?
Yeah, that's right. I thought I could give some useful insight because we've built a lot of systems for a lot of things, and it's helped us to get to a point where we could sell the business, which is happening. So I think I can give some useful input.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I mean, I think we're in sort of 2 or 3 categories as entrepreneurs, aren't we, as business owners? We're either growing a lifestyle business that makes loads of money but keeps us really busy. We're trying to grow a business so that we can get out of it or sell it, or we're growing a business explicitly to get out of it and sell it. What I think you've got in your experience there is that you've done it. You're very close to the end of that journey, aren't you now?
Yeah, I think we're looking to complete at the end of October still. I think it's more likely going to be mid-November, but it's, yeah, very, very close.
Yeah.
And I think putting all the systems, these things in place, actually, yeah, it's great if you're looking to sell a business because it makes it more sellable. But even if you're not, it just makes your working life so much easier.
Yeah, easier, more enjoyable, and ultimately,
Absolutely. Yeah.
hopefully, more profitable. Cool. Well, let's dive in. We've got, I think, 5 key points to cover today on these slides. So the first one, and apologies to anyone watching, I'm going to have to keep moving our faces around the screen. The first one is to write and use a procedure manual for your business. So just talk to us about how you went about doing that, Stuart, and why it's so important.
Yeah, doesn't need to be terribly complicated. We used Google Docs,
Yeah.
and we just tried to systemize everything that we did and make a procedure for it. So the best example I can give is how you answer the phone. I think we all need to answer our phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great script to put, a starting point. This is what we say: good morning, good afternoon, blah blah blah, business name, how can I help you, whatever it is, however you answer it, so that it builds consistency. And it's something that when new staff come in,
Yeah.
you don't have to tell them 100 things. You can just go, right, there's the procedure manual.
Yeah.
And they can learn it, and they're going to still have questions and you still need to tell them stuff, but it just makes that kind of workflow so much easier. Yeah, I think that's the biggest advantage of it. It keeps you organized, and you can keep building it. It's an open document, so you can, if something changes in the business, you can change it. If a new member of staff comes in, have some different ideas or whatever, you can always, it's ever evolving, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting, isn't it? The point about how to answer the phone. People might think, well, that's very straightforward and simple. But do you know what? There should be a way that you answer a phone in a business. And for a new starter coming in, it's like, here's our ops manual. I'm going to talk you through it, but you can read it yourself. And this is how we answer the phone. Because actually, the ops manual would probably also include how to use the phone. It's all day one stuff, isn't it? How to transfer a call, how to get all that process down.
That's the most basic thing. But obviously you can go, if you've got certain software that you have to do a certain way and it's quite complex, like our dental software, certain appointments you can book with certain dentists on certain days and all that kind of stuff. You can put everything in there.
Yeah.
And it just makes an easy system for people to follow.
Yeah.
And it is important, like how you answer the phone is really, really important.
Of course.
That consistency, making sure people aren't just picking up the phone and saying hello, because some businesses do that. Like, it amazes me. You're like, have I rung such and such? Oh yeah, right. You're going to help me, are you? Like, is this? I was like, what are you doing? No, and it's not like it happens a lot, doesn't it? I know.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
not
just
splitting
me.
the atom, is it? But it's,
Yeah,
it's so often overlooked.
absolutely.
And I think if you start in the simple stuff like that, well, you can start building a process for everything.
Yeah,
And actually, if people stray off the process sometimes, at least you know what line you've got to pull them back to.
exactly. You can manage it. You can track it. You can use it for your appraisals and staff training and all these kinds of things. And actually, I think one of the things I would say is for anyone out there that's just them in a very micro business, it's just a one-man band type scenario. It's the best time to do it, because if you are planning on growing, it might seem stupid writing down on a saying a piece of paper, but on a computer, on a screen, oh, this is how I answer the phone. For your reference seems a bit weird, but it's surprising how many little things that you do, and then when you bring someone in, you've just made that process 100 times quicker and easier.
Yeah, a million times easier. That's right.
And it sets a precedent as well.
That's a precedent, exactly right. And I think Google Docs, brilliant tip, because it's real time. Multiple people can be in it at the same time. You see changes happen. I think the other thing that I thought of on this point, and we'll move on in a second, but if you've got a team, you don't have to put the whole process design on your desk. I mean, you can, if you've got like head of dentistry, they can do the design for how we go about the complex procedures.
Oh, absolutely.
Got a head of sales and marketing, they design out the sales and marketing process.
Yeah. And in our business we have a lot of compliance, so we have to have a procedure manual for CQC, so that they can see that we know what we're doing, and we write it all down and track it, etc., for all the reasons we've just discussed. But we never had one. We had a procedure manual for answering the phone, for how to treat patients when they come in, how to process a filling, how to do a denture repair, all these things, but never had anything for the compliance. So it was a bit of a weird situation when they turned up on our doorstep one morning. But yeah, we fixed all that. But yeah, it's even from a compliance perspective, these are things that you should have in your business. So that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So write and importantly use a procedure manual. That's something anyone can do in their business and would be encouraged. So on to the next point, using what you've described as to-do software. So tell us about that, Stu.
So I use Asana for the team. I know about Trello, and I've seen loads and loads of ads spamming me about monday.com, but I've not used them, so I don't know how they compare to Asana. But this is massive. It links very well into the procedure manual as well, because if you need something added, you can use it as a tool for that. But Asana basically is all about making lists so that you don't forget things, or you can assign them to your other team members. So if I've got something, I go, an email drops in my inbox, and it's a patient saying, oh, I want to rearrange my appointment, because sometimes for some reason they do come through to me. And I can just copy that in, stick it on Asana, and assign it to the admin team. And off my list then, and I know it's going to get done because it's on their to-do list, and I can check it. I can go back and have they done that? Yes, they've done it, or whatever. And for myself as well, like if I have, I'm sure you're the same, Adam, you have 1,000 ideas a day. You see these gold shiny objects and all that stuff, and you have ideas, you want to write them down and don't forget them. You can stick them on here, and you can put it back a year. You can say, investigate this certain new piece of software that you've just seen an advert for, and then set a date for 6 months or a year, whatever it is. And that's it. Like, you can get it out your head, and then you're not going to forget about it, but it's there ready for future. yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Just again, another way of keeping things organized.
Yeah, nice tools. I've started with some of these programs. Asana's the one that I've looked at, and to me, especially the app on your phone, it's a little bit like advanced notes. You know, for a long, if I looked back at all the notes I've got on my phone where I've captured ideas, there's a million of them. But with the to-do software, you can set dates on it, you can assign it to people, you can get updates on it, you can use it in your morning meetings. It's, you know,
absolutely, it's just a bit better organized, isn't it? Because back in the day I would do this, but with a diary, with a black, you know, and then if I didn't finish a task on that day, I'd have to then rewrite it for the date that I did want to, and it was quite laborious. Keep going over your tasks, and I'd have a highlighter pen so I could see what I'd completed and things. But it's just an updated version of that. I think you know, the lists on your list apps on your phones were a step up from paper, but these softwares are another step up from that.
Yeah, very powerful. So great tip for anyone looking to build those systems and processes out in their business. So the next one, and I know it's a biggie, systematically acquire new customers for your business. So this is like building out your sales and marketing processes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, this is probably the biggest one in terms of growing the business, because, you know, more customers means more sales, means you can put your prices up, means you can then ultimately deliver a better service, and that cycle keeps continuing. But yeah, to have a system, a fully blown system that's working constantly, it's just drip feeding constantly. And I always track it. I always aim to get 3 new consultations per day per clinician in our practice. So that's my sort of KPI that I cross-reference it. And I know if it ever drops back from that, something's going wrong in the system, and I can go back and try and find out what it is. But yeah, the marketing system itself, so it depending on your market, depending on where customers come from, but I use a combination of Google AdWords, Facebook remarketing, and then forms on the website with CRM backing that up. So you're drip feeding them with emails, depending on what it is that they're interested in, and segmenting your services down into more niche. So for example, we are the go-to implant clinic in Swindon. We are the denture experts in Swindon. We are the cosmetic dentistry experts in Swindon. You know, all these different things we've got the landing pages for, the ads for, the forms for, and then the CRM follow-ups for. So that building that system takes a long time. But if you break it down into those segments, you can do one at a time, and, you know, build it around whatever it is that your business is doing. And you've then just got a constant stream of all the different types of customers constantly coming into your business. And as long as you pick up the phone, as long as you treat them well, and all the, you know, all those other bits and bobs that come in with that, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and I think it follows, and it should follow the methodology for building out any process, really, shouldn't it? You know, capture the sales and marketing system in your Google Docs. Keep that maybe closely guarded, because it's, you know, it's high value intellectual property. But you've got a turnkey system. Then it's like, oh, I can see my pipeline's a bit low for the next couple of months. Let's just pump a little bit more cash into AdWords or Facebook ads or email marketing, and you know that because you've got your conversion rates, you're going to turn it into more customers, and the more customers you have, quite rightly, you know, you can charge more.
You can charge more. You can convert less of them into patients, but the ones that do are paying more. So you'll end up doing less work for more money, which we all want, don't we?
Sounds great.
If we're
That's
honest,
what we all want. That's the name.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so the next one we've got here is don't forget to follow up. So having a process for following up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of the marketing acquisition thing that we just talked about. But it's so important. And again, it's one of those things that not many businesses do or do it very well. Try and aim for 10 follow-ups. So this is after, from our perspective, after a new customer / patient has come into the business and has had a treatment plan or a quote, whatever you want to call it, and then they don't go ahead immediately. So you keep them in some sort of system where you phone them, then a week later email them, a week later write them a letter, another phone call, blah, 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 10 times, 10 different things, because not everyone will respond to a phone call. I never pick my phone up. No. You'll only ever get my voicemail. But emails, I'm on it constantly. I like communicating by email. So everybody's different, and everybody will react differently to different ways of communicating with them. So it's important you get all of them. You can, I think, well, we're discussing it the other day, but Facebook messaging or what else is there? WhatsApp and all these.
WhatsApp, exactly right. Text message.
Text message is really good.
Yeah.
In fact, text message is probably one of the best.
Yeah.
The follow-ups we do on our dental software in-house by text message is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's like 99% open rate.
Oh, exactly. Compared to an email, I mean, emails are okay, aren't they? But I think text is best, and then WhatsApp's quickly catching it up. Having said that, Messenger on Facebook's brilliant. You and I arranged this all over Messenger, didn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. I like communicating by Messenger or email, whatever. I don't like the phone to my ear these days.
No. I think less and less people do. It's still though a valuable tool, of course, because some people,
of course,
it. And I think when I was thinking about this follow-up system, I know that Infusionsoft is the CRM that I probably know best. You can build out in Infusionsoft with very little skill ability. I know that for a fact because I've been able to do it. A follow-up process that encapsulates all of those things. You can have, day one, email, got your message, let us know if you want more info, here's some stuff. Day 5, second email. Day 7, text message. Day 14, letter. You could set up a follow-up system.
And you can set up tasks that will email your team.
Yeah, exactly.
To say, phone this patient, and then it will pop up on their email.
Yeah.
And then they know what they've got to do. That's the customer's name, that's their number, follow them up, and then they do the call, and then they update that on Infusionsoft. So yeah, definitely Infusionsoft's great for these things. I'm just learning HubSpot now. So for my next business venture, I'm going to be using HubSpot. So I'm just learning that, but I would say probably more user-friendly than Infusionsoft by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, even more simple.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's plenty of others, and I know that.
Oh, crikey, yeah.
I know that either of us would be very happy to talk to people about how to do that, because it's relatively straightforward.
In fact, actually saying that on that point, our follow-up system is pen and paper.
Right.
It's the only thing is pen and paper, but we have a log sheet with names on it of all the consultations that we've done, and then a little 10 boxes above that with follow-ups, so the staff can then tick them off, and if we finally get a no, they can highlight them off in red, or if they've sold, they can highlight them off in gold. Sold. Red is
I thought you were going to say green for a second, but gold sounds a lot better.
Gold is sold. Yeah,
gold is sold. Wow. So follow-up system.
Very old school way of doing it, but it works great.
Yeah, if it works, it's great. And again, it's the kind of thing you can put into your operations manual, procedures manual.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like, for me in my business, we always, say it, and it sounds a bit glib, but we say we'll keep in touch until they buy or die, because there is another way out of it. You don't have to go 6 feet under. The other way out of a follow-up system is just to say, I don't want to hear from you anymore. And we're cool with that. We go looking for yes, no, and maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll keep in touch. No, you won't hear from us again. Maybe, okay, we'll diary you forward 3 months. And then the process starts again. And it works. You know, and we never upset anyone. Sometimes someone say, "Will you just piss off and leave me alone?" Well, we just categorize that as a no.
Yeah.
You know, fine. So no, I think it's massive follow up, and I think people give up too soon with follow up. Like you say, 10, I'd say forever, but 10 could last forever depending on how big the intervals are. So okay, next one is talking about scheduling and making sure you have regular pricing reviews. So tell us about that, Stu.
Yes. So this is a system that I haven't implemented in our business. And to be honest, we're completing on sale now, so I probably won't get to do it. But for my new business, it's certainly something that I'm going to look at. And it's the same thing again, but this time it's looking at how we price our service or products on a systematic review rather than, oh, should we do a price increase?
Yeah.
Oh, don't know. When was the last one? I don't know. About a year ago, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at it then. How much should we put it up by? Don't know. You know, that's where we always were, and it's as opposed to, I think what's better is let's look at putting a X amount percentage increase every 6 months. And if you don't do it, fine. But at least you know where you did it last time, and you know you can track it and compare how it's working. If your conversions drop too much or they start going up too high, you can use it to track against that. So it's definitely something for me to work on for the future.
Yeah, I love it, and really good idea. That it's helped me actually. You know, I'm going to put a calendar entry in that repeats every quarter through the year for the rest of time, and all it says is pricing review, and it will prompt me then to ask the same questions. You know, did we lose business because? What was our conversion rate? Is any of the lost business opportunity because of price? So are we too high? Are we too low? What's the competition doing out there? Are we too low? Are we too high? And actually, of course, we want to put our pricing up because we want to make more profit. But sometimes a pricing review might show, well, actually, you'd have made more sales and therefore possibly more profit if you just tweaked it down very slightly.
Yeah, of course.
But so it's a pricing review. Of course, we want to be moving up. If in the report, when I look at it in 3 months' time, it says you haven't lost a single inquiry because you were too expensive, it's a clear indicator that I need to put my prices up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if there's been no resistance at all to price, again, it just builds a little system that gets it into your head to say, how can I make the 10-15% margin difference that's going to be, the difference between scraping by or making a serious profit?
Yeah, I think that's really, 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 really important to so many businesses. We struggled with it for years. Yeah. Getting by, struggling to pay the bills, having to get really good at managing cash flow, but ultimately all because we weren't charging enough.
Yeah.
And we were boils down to not having enough new people coming through the door to be able to get the conversions at the right level, because you obviously want to convert some of them, but not 100%. And I think so many businesses convert at 100% because they want to sell to every single inquiry that comes through.
Yeah.
Because they haven't got enough. That's such a simple concept, and one of those things that just changes everything.
Yeah, exactly. So periodic pricing review, get them in your diaries, definitely. Yeah, cool. And then I think we're on to the last one here, which actually arguably is the biggest of all in my eyes, which is all about enabling and empowering your staff to get on with stuff.
Excuse me. Yes. I don't know, you could say it's the most important. I don't know if any of them are, because they all work hand in hand, don't they? But it's a really, really important thing. When we're just going back to the procedure manuals, it wasn't ever about us writing those procedure manuals and saying, right, this is what you're doing. Actually, the staff wrote most of the procedure manual.
Yeah.
They were just saying, well, this is what I do day to day, and and then just writing that down and then putting it into the system of the procedure manual. And often where it falls down, I suppose, for a lot of businesses, that when you're growing and you've got lots of staff coming on board and they don't know what to do and they keep constantly asking you questions all day. So what we did to stop that was empower them, but also say, if they come to us with a question and say, well, what do you think you should do?
Yeah.
And more than 9 times out of 10, they would give you the right answer.
Yeah, exactly. And that helps people grow, definitely, when you don't just answer all the questions all the time. I mean, you can even say, what does the manual say? And if the manual doesn't have the answer, you work out what the answer is and stick it in the manual.
Yeah, and it got to a point where my staff would say they've changed it, so they would come and say, actually, we've got this problem and I think we should do this, because they know what I'm going to ask them. They knew straight away what my reply was going to be, so they already come prepped. So yeah, and it gets to a point where they don't, they know that they can not even ask you after a while.
Yeah,
they know what the boundaries are. And it's honestly, in the last probably year, I've probably had 1 a month questions from the practice manager.
Great.
Because they just know now.
Yeah. Probably, in truth, better than you, Stu.
I don't disagree for a second, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? This is an area I'm very passionate about, because this is actually all about the culture in the business. And the culture, that part of the culture says you are empowered to, do what you think is right. If you're unsure, you can always ask. But our business grows and improves on the 1% marginal gains that we make. And we all know about Dave Brailsford and 1% improvements, the aggregation of marginal gains. But it happens in every business. It's not just how to win a gold medal on the cycling track. It's how to build our business that's much more fun, enjoyable, and profitable for everyone. And it's like, if you notice the waiting area of your dental practice, for example, people don't sit in a certain seat ever. Well, it might be because the seat is either broken or uncomfortable, or they're too close together. And actually, it shouldn't have to be, I'll go and ask Stuart what I should do about this. It's like, you find the improvement, make the change, but then let everyone know about it.
Yeah.
It's these little things that then create the better experience and the more profitable way of doing business for everyone. So, empower your staff, let them get on with it. And that, for me, is all about building a business rich in culture to everyone's benefit. So, really, really powerful tool. I started waffling there, Stu. Was there anything that I've missed?
No, I don't think so. I had an incident with my practice manager only maybe a few weeks ago, where a patient had written a bad complaint about us, and it was waffle. It was nonsense. Like what had happened, and it had gone up on Google, Google My Business reviews.
Yeah, Google reviews.
And we got a fantastic, like with 4.8 out of 5 or something, 100 odd reviews. And this review, the way she'd written it, made us sound like right assholes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case at all. She was a bit of an idiot. But anyway, I just said, look, I got contact with the patient. I said, take your review down, we'll give you your money back. And it was agreed. And the practice manager got a little bit annoyed because she said, well, she shouldn't have had her money back because it wasn't our fault. And I think empowering the staff is great, but sometimes you have to, we're running, it is still a business that we own and running, and we do sometimes have to override them. So it's just I suppose that this point is just warning that sometimes it can work the opposite.
Yeah.
So staff can
Well, and I think it's fine as long as everyone learns from that.
Yeah.
That's about, we don't mind mistakes. We do mind repeated mistakes. You know,
and it's definitely nothing like that. It's just her stance was she didn't think that refunding was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was the right thing to do because that refund was worth 100 times that.
Of course.
Get rid of it. That negative review off of our thing. So as a commercial decision, sometimes, you know, and that's probably the only incident of something like that I can think of for a long, long time. So, but it's, you know, it's worth thinking about.
Yeah.
On that
note. Definitely. Cool. All right. Well, I love that. And I think there were 5 really great tips there. So, yeah, I mean, for anyone that does stumble across this video, I've got to move this thing somewhere else. They can find the group. Most people watching it will be in the group actually, but we're on Facebook, Not Another Business Group. Great community of business owners and senior people who help one another out and create content like this from time to time. How can people find you, Stu, if they want to ask you any questions about how you built these processes?
Well, in the group, I'm always in the group, ready to help anyone. You can get me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and at the moment my website is developdental.co.uk. So I'm focusing my new business, which is coaching, and so teaching all this stuff we've talked about today, and also digital marketing services as well. Primarily aimed at dentists, but not limited, but that's where I'm going with it at this moment in time. But we will be able to offer these services to any business. In fact, I'm already doing that with some of the guys in the group. So yeah, you can reach out to me on any of those platforms. And
it's Stuart Miles. That's easy to remember because it's S Miles, Smiles, and having run
I'm Stuart Miles 2 on LinkedIn.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Cool. Well, look, if anyone watching has any other topics they'd like me to find someone to talk to you about, which might help, just drop me a line. You can find me in the group, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Adam Butler. But thank you, Stu. That's been so helpful. And I know that it's great content that will help a load of people out.
I hope so.
Yeah. It will. Anything before we sign off, Stu?
No, that's all good from me.
Great. All right. Thumbs up. I will see you all soon. Take care.